What's up, my friends? Well, trust me that I'm in a hammock in my Birkenstocks with my dirty ass feet. And just so you can see that I'm actually here, I'll go ahead and show my face here. Hi, how you doing, everybody? And I figure I'm going to film outwards just because I can't really hold the camera very straight. So I'm going to set it down here and make my video. So you could call this a podcast of sorts, because holding the camera kind of is just a pain in the ass. And no, I'm not going to set up some bullshit studio crap. Get my tripod and all that shit. And that's one of the things I love about my channel. And even after all these years, I could still just walk out in the front yard and make a video about some random subject and not have to worry about it. I love it. And I love all my subscribers, and I love all the, it's just crazy to me that I have so many subs. When people point it out, I'm like, I don't do this for the subs. And so trying to explain that, so many people do these things for the sub. Oh, check it out. Here's this bird. What's up, girl? She's checking me out to make sure I'm not a threat, because she set her nest up right there in that bush by the front door. And I can hear the babies right now. And, she's like, what's up? Are you a danger? And she's just doing her thing. She'll come over here and then fly over there. Anyhow, it's alright. You can go home to your babies. There's like 2 of them in there. There was 4 at the beginning, and now there's only 2 left. And I can hear them screeching for their food. Anyhow, I'll let them be. Birds are curious, and they're very intelligent. I see a contrail. I see 2 planes. I guess they're not chemtrails, as somebody would call, since they're not persistent, right? But I won't get into that today. Today I'm talking about doing things my way, or rather doing things your way. I thought this was kind of an interesting subject to tackle, because I was in the house and I was thinking, when it comes to doing things with a group, or doing things with my wife, or going out with someone, I am about as far from a control freak as you get. In other words, I'm the go-with-the-flow kind of guy. It's like, I don't know, what should we do? I don't know, what do you want to do? And my wife and I are both horrible decision makers in a lot of regards. So often there's one person who always takes charge, and then the other person will either go along with it and be happy, or build resentment because of that, because they never get to choose or whatnot. An example would be the wife that never gets to drive, that wishes she could, but the husband is too much of a control freak to allow her to drive. And for me, it's my wife just doesn't want to drive, and so I end up having to drive. And I do it because, she wants me to. I'm just saying that as kind of a preamble to the fact that I consider myself to be not a control freak, and I don't like to really make decisions in a group, but when it comes to my own life, people can just fuck right off. I hate to put it that way. When people have an opinion about how I should be living or what I should be doing, and I've noticed that I tend to kind of basically tell people off if they say, oh man, maybe you should do this or maybe you should do that. I just tend to be a little bit standoffish. And it's okay. Sometimes it might be something that would bother a person. They'd think, oh, I'm a little bit arrogant when people tell me what to do. And hello, bird. She's just totally checking me out. What's up? What are you doing? You can come down here if you want. So anyhow, I was thinking, oh, I could just see the look in her eyes. She's like, are you going to fuck with my babies? Just go home, you're fine. I'll tell you one thing about blue jays is that when they're annoyed... Oh, hey there. Maybe that'll explain why she's all upset. What's up, girl? Oh, that shit's hilarious. You're funny as hell, cat. This is Callie. Of course, from Calico, California, whatever. Definitely Calico, but she's a sweetheart. She's about 11 or so. She kind of does what she wants. So anyway, back to my rambling about, you know, being a control freak. I know a lot of people who are control freaks who just always have to have control of the situation. For me, it's the opposite. But when it comes to my own personal life, and that's what I've noticed, when it comes to the things that I'm doing or I'm choosing to do at the moment, I'm very defensive about it. And I'm very standoffish and very fuck you about it. Arrogant, I guess. It's not arrogance, really. When it comes to your own interests and somebody says, oh, that's, not something I'd do, I say, so fucking what? What does it matter if it's something you do or not? It's something I do, and that's what I do. But over the years, I've seen how things that an individual chooses to do can harm others. An example, I guess, as an extreme example, would be a person who's a thief who says, well, I get what I want that way. And I fill my pockets with riches that way. And I like to rob people. And my thought would be, well, you're stealing from individuals who are also needing their free space, needing to work for themselves. You have not thought this through. You're harming other people. Most people who are thieves are well aware of that, The old nobody likes a thief thing goes to extremes with me. I really don't like thieves. I mean, if there's somebody out there who's listening to this right now, who breaks into cars or houses or steals other people's stuff, you're a piece of shit for doing that. And, I mean that from the bottom of my heart and with all of my heart. Because it's one of those things we have to frown upon as a society. Nobody deserves to get theirs by taking someone else's. And I'll tell you, I've worked hard for the shit that I have in my life. I've been stolen from, I've been ripped off, I've had, quote, friends steal from me, and thieves are the worst. I mean, they're the worst lowlifes. And thieves who steal from businesses, you may be thinking, oh, but, it's blue-collar or white-collar crime or whatnot. Well, that's up to the individual. But when it comes to stealing from one person, a person who's worked hard for their ends, and you steal their car or their stuff, it's something that I just find totally appalling. And you deserve to have your face slapped like a fucking, yeah. I can't even go there. It's the one thing that I think people need to be physically beat to a pulp over because, our society pretty much agrees that thieves suck. But I went off on thieves there, didn't I? So anyway, I was talking about, the things that are unacceptable and acceptable in a society. And so it's acceptable to do whatever you want to do as long as you're not harming other people. I totally agree with that. And so I've noticed I'm not really a control freak. I don't really like to have control, but I like to do what I want. Because I only have one choice in this life, to be me, to be an individual. I like being me, being an individual. Oh, there's the bird. Well, I'll leave it at that. I got nothing really else to say. I'm in my front yard. My neighbor came out and it distracted me. Probably because I was self-conscious about talking to myself in the front yard. I don't know why. I don't really give a shit. Probably just because I was afraid if he heard me, he'd come over and talk to me. And I like my privacy. And that's another thing I've noticed I'd like to mention, I guess, before I go, is I love people and I love groups. But I really don't like my space being invaded. I don't like people showing up out of the blue at my house. I don't like it when I have to talk to neighbors, and I feel weird around people sometimes. And I think a lot of people have that kind of social anxiety, like, what do we talk about? What do we have in common? And once I warm up to people, that's fine. I go right into it, and I always have something to talk about. But it's that weird initial interaction, I guess, that is strange for me. And I really like my peace and quiet when it comes to my personal space, when people invade it. But at the same time, I'm very open to hanging out with big groups of people, and I do enjoy going to festivals and hanging out with large groups if it's on my time. And I think that's another thing it comes down to. So maybe it is being a little bit controlling, but only over my own destiny, because I feel like we all deserve that much. You know, I can't control the world I live in. It's crazy. I observe things and listen to my heart and learn things that I can, and in the end find out that what's really important is always just being aware of the moment. And that means embracing this that we have as individuals. And so we have the right to our moment, and our individual moment. My now should not be invaded by somebody else's nonsense that I don't want to hear, in other words. That may sound harsh, because a lot of people say, you know, you have to sacrifice a little bit to other people. And I was like, I totally agree. But you get to choose who and when. It's kind of like donating. You donate to people that you respect because you choose to, not because you're asked to give a charity at a fucking checkout at a store. You know what I mean? There's the nest in there. I'm going to go back inside so the bird can get back to her babies. So I wish you all the best of days, and take care now, and I'll talk to you.